Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time once again to meet our community, the Hispanic business community here in Orange County. Powered by the Orange County Hispanic Chamber of Commerce and Orange County's only community radio station, streaming live from our studios here at the University of California, Irvine's Beale Applied Innovation Center. And today, well, we got a special thing. We're going to try something different today. We're bringing in somebody, a legendary performer. We're going to have a Zoom call with him, but not until 12:20. So until we've invited the president, Reuben Franco, to come and fill us in on what's going on these days with the chamber, what's happening as we kill a little time before we get our guest on here. Welcome back, Reuben.
Thanks, Paul. How you doing? How you been?
I'm doing good. Well, you know, University of Michigan won the national championship, first time in 100 years, outright. So yeah, I'm still under the excitement of that here. You know, it's hard to believe. You grew up out here, didn't you? You grew up out here.
I did.
It's so blasé. Okay, 1 year it's the Lakers, the Dodgers, you know, the Rams, whatever. Or like in New York or even Boston. You just get used to these. Oh, if it's not this year, it'll be another year.
Right.
Imagine growing up like I did as a kid. It's never the year. It's just never the year. And maybe, you know, the Tigers went the World Series once or twice and as a kid, and maybe, you know, the Pistons had their 1 or 2 year run, but it's pretty bleak. It's a long period of time. And that's the way much of the upper Midwest is.
Right.
Chicago, Milwaukee, Minneapolis, where I was born, Detroit, where I lived most of my life. They never see championships. So
how about the Red Wings?
Well, yeah, the hockey town. But when was the last time the Red Wings won a championship?
I don't remember.
The 40s or 50s or something.
But they had some pretty awesome
Gordie
teams.
Howe used to be.
Sure.
Yeah. But, you know, it's far and few between. So I don't think people understand what it means to these towns to win something, because they go so long without that experience.
Yeah, well, the Lions gave it a good run.
Oh.
They were close. They should have probably pulled that out.
I think they should have. I thought we were going to get a double win, because the Lions are one of 4 teams that have never been to the Super Bowl. Only 4 teams: the Browns, the Lions, the Houston Texans, and the Jacksonville.
Look at you with your
pretty
athletic
impressive
knowledge there. Yeah. Wow.
Well, so I don't know why we're talking about football when we're talking about our community here, but you know, it's a story if you're back from the Midwest. So what's going on in your community, in our community here? And
well, we have a lot, and you were there last week. We had our annual SBDC conference. So
yes.
Obviously, we are one of only 4 Hispanic chambers in the country to host a small business development center.
I did know that. Okay.
Yeah, under the SBA. So we get money from the SBA, a federal grant. We get money from the state, so a state grant, and we get money from other banks and other companies like Experian, and we think we had on last week or the week before,
partner, right.
Who are great partners, and all that we provide resources to our small business community at no cost because of that. And we do finance in our center. That's what my background is, finance, with being a
you were in banking,
former banker and all that stuff. But
right.
we have 8 other centers with other resources as well, from technology to digital marketing to general services to trade to all kinds of different things. So it's kind of it's a great program to be part of, because you get to provide resources to just our community, and we don't charge for it.
Imagine that. Now, what about? Did you talk to the people? We actually had them on because we do a podcast for the SBDC.
That's right.
The local OCIE SBDC that has 6 or 7 centers and 100 all over the area here. They brought in this new caravan center. You know about that? And that is, now you got even a niche on top of it. The Hispanic Chamber here hosts a SBD center here at UCI, but that's kind of a broad for all Hispanic businesses, and even finance. Anybody who wants to get financing, raise money for your business. That center is specifically designed to target Hispanic entrepreneurs, a subset of entrepreneurs they don't think gets enough attention.
Well, not just Hispanic entrepreneurs, but Hispanic entrepreneurs who would rather be mentored and coached in Spanish.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
It's even more niche than that, because we do a lot of that ourselves, but usually in English. But there's people who are just more comfortable in learning that skill in Spanish,
sure.
And so we're able to offer that through Caravan. So that's one of our new centers. Yes,
way out in Palm Springs, but it serves everybody here in Southern California.
That's right.
And I thought it was a fascinating idea. An entrepreneurial center targeted at one specific community. Do Hispanics recognize the entrepreneurial opportunities available to them? I'm not sure they do. Or do they have mentors, or do they grow up having knowing other businesses and other entrepreneurs, or like the Vietnamese community, other immigrant communities, do they not have that experience?
I think
Or maybe they have more of it because there's also little small mom and pop businesses.
I think you're having more and more every day. I grew up in Huntington Park, which is southeast LA, and back then it was kind of the tipping point, or just the starting point, excuse me, not tipping point, but of all those kind of businesses. And you started seeing it flourish, right?
Yeah.
In Huntington Park and Santa Ana and other places as well. And now you have more mature, bigger companies like Northgate Markets, who's a member of ours and just does great work here in the county, and others that are growing. And I serve on the board of the U.S. Hispanic Chamber, and there are, I think the last count, there's about 5 million Hispanic-owned businesses nationwide, and that's huge. There's about 30,000 here in Orange County, and it's growing. And Latinas are starting businesses faster than the rest of the populace, like a 3-to-1 margin. So it's pretty.
So more even women, because that's another subsect.
Right.
Not enough businesses get started by women in general. It's generally more men starting businesses.
So it is definitely becoming a more mature group of people who just have seen other Hispanics start businesses. When the chamber was started 37 years ago, I don't think that was the case, right? There wasn't as many, and now you're seeing more and more every year, and more students going to college, going to universities, becoming entrepreneurial. So it's definitely a huge growing.
I wonder, and that's why I think out loud here. When immigrants come to this country, obviously, first barrier is they don't speak English, they don't speak the language, whatever it is, Vietnamese, Persian, Hispanics, whatnot. Yeah. And the second thing is they don't understand the system. How do things work here? How's the game played? So they got a double barrier. They've got to, they can't communicate. They can't maybe read in English or something here, and so they can't go and search this stuff very easily. And if they do, maybe they don't have any experience, or other people look just like them and entrepreneurs. Yeah. However, on the flip side, I think because entrepreneurs face those hurdles, immigrants face those hurdles of all kinds, they tend to be more entrepreneurial because it's hard to get a job if you don't speak. If I went to Mexico, how would I get a job? I'd probably have to figure out how to do something myself. Right. And maybe be small or maybe be simple, but I'd have to sort of create my own opportunity because maybe I didn't speak the language. Yeah. And so I wonder, on some level, I think they're more entrepreneurial. Vietnamese who come here, Hispanics come here and stuff, because they're forced to be. But at the other level, they don't really know how to grow those businesses or go get capital and financing stuff because they may not have all the things in place. They may not understand how the system works. And so they stay in kind of small mom and pop businesses. And I don't think many grow to the level of like Northgate Market and stuff, where they've got umpteen locations and stuff here. Yeah. So I wonder if anybody's ever studied that. If immigrants as a whole are by nature more entrepreneurial because they have to be, but we tend to think of them as starting little small businesses, little almost side businesses.
Well, I think you're right. They are more because they have to be. They have to kind of be more resourceful. If they came from a country, and our guest coming up, had to defect from a country that was pretty brutal, a brutal regime, right?
Right.
And we'll get to talk to him about that. But yeah, I think they come from circumstances where they do have to be. There's more grit, more resourcefulness.
Do anything to succeed.
And do anything to succeed, right? And a lot of it's family, right? You mentioned the Vietnamese community, the Hispanic community, very entrepreneurial, very family oriented when it comes to.
And they pull the money together and they buy something, a dry cleaner or something, or a simple store or something here.
That's right. And they work hard, they work endless hours, and they try to just help their families and their community.
And then the other thing that strikes me is this whole word entrepreneur. I'm old enough to remember when that word didn't exist in the public discourse. I think it was about the 70s they came up with this fancy French term for being self-employed here. And I, as a kid, and growing up in the 50s and 60s, I got a few years on everybody here, I never heard of anybody being an entrepreneur of any kind. When I grew up in the Midwest, the dream was to work for one of the big three, Detroit, the car companies, or one of the subsidiaries. That was your dream, to go to college so that you could get a corporate job. None of my friends' fathers worked for themselves. I couldn't tell you anybody that worked for themselves. Right. I'm sure there were some, but the majority of them, that was the dream, to get a corporate job, and you'd 40 years and out, and they'd take care of you, and you get pensions and all this stuff. And then somewhere along the way that changed. It seemed like in the 70s, somewhere around there, this idea of when I was doing entertainment PR, suddenly we were fascinated by entrepreneurs as celebrities, Bill Gates and Steve Jobs and all this stuff, and that it popped up this idea that starting a business was cool and sexy and kind of fun, and then I think that's when the government started really pushing this idea of entrepreneurship.
Right. Well, when pensions went away, right, you had to kind of think, rethink.
They didn't take care of you, right? The
your-
companies went away, the pensions went away.
Your focus, right? You didn't work for one company for 30, 40 years anymore. You're
Right.
having to do that. But and then technology came about, right, in the 70s and 80s and now, and keeps on growing with
Yeah.
AI and other things. And I think people, because of that, because there's a lower cost of barrier to starting a company,
Right.
right? Because of that, there's more people who want to be entrepreneurial because the risk is less. I don't need to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars to start something. I
Yeah,
could start
to build
something.
a factory or something.
Yeah, I mean, I can start something on my kitchen table, and it could be done. I can have it up and running with a
Good
website
point,
and
right.
and all those kind of things. And I could drop ship, and I could do things that are a little bit more, easier and less and more cost effective, and help my family, or maybe and some people do something that's pretty significant and just knock it out of the park, and
Yeah.
they have a multi-million-dollar, payday. So
We're
which
here
is
at
good.
UCI's Beale Applied
Yeah.
Innovation Center, a fancy place where they try and take
Yep.
technology and turn it into something. And you walk around the building, and there's a handful of people here and a handful of people there, and this group weighs 10 million, 20 million, 50 million, even 100 million, all on some idea, mostly med tech and medical devices
Right.
here in this building, but they've come up with some research, and they're trying to take it to the next level and scale it up. And it's amazing to me. Like you said, it's a small team developing something that could develop into something quite big and life-changing.
That's right. What's the next Apple or Microsoft or
Heart
Tesla
valve
or
or
heart
something.
valve or next door to us here is Medtronic, who's
Yeah.
doing all kinds of stuff in the medical industry. So we're very fortunate here in Orange County to have a lot of great entrepreneurs thinking, on the high level, large level, and even on the small level, right? That's going to have an impact to our community.
And
So,
a lot of resources to become an entrepreneur. Schools are
lot
teaching
of
it,
resources.
and people like you. All right, so today, just give us a preview. We're going to take a break. When we go, you're going to interview the great Arturo Sandoval, a legend in jazz. I grew up loving jazz. I was a jazz DJ in college, and I guess he's on kind of a press junket, so he's somewhere and he's doing multiple interviews at once, and we're scheduled to talk to him in about 5 minutes here. So we're going to take a break and go get him, then come back. But give us some preview. Have you ever met him or talked to him before?
I've never met him, never talked to him, but I did used to play the trumpet years ago.
Did you?
So,
Okay.
yeah, so I'm looking.
You want a little techniques or something?
Forward to well, I don't think you can. I was never that good
He's
at
going to
it
give you some chops. or something.
originally, but I just listen. So yeah.
So yeah, and he's coming into town here to perform with the Pacific Symphony.
Yeah, he's
coming in.
performing with the Pacific Symphony. Our new pops conductor, Enrico Lopez Yanez, who's a great young pops conductor, also the pops conductor for Nashville as well as Orange County. So looking forward to seeing them coming up on February 16th and 17th
Yeah.
at the Seagrisham Center.
And it's going to be
So
a whole series of what they call Latin Fire concerts.
Latin Fire concert is going to be a lot of fun. So we will be there to hear it actually in person. So.
Okay. Well, what a rare opportunity to meet people. I don't know any of his backstory. We'll find out more about it here today. You said he came from, did he immigrate from someplace?
He defected from Cuba.
Oh, from Cuba, of course. Yeah, right.
yeah.
Well, all right. We're going to hear all that in a couple of minutes more. Anything else you want to update us on before we break away? We got like 2 minutes here.
April 6th is our upcoming Estrella Awards. If people haven't been there, it's one of the largest black tie events here in Orange County. It'll be at the beautiful Disneyland Hotel on April 6th, 6 p.m. start time, and we will be giving out Estrella Awards.
Something about dressing up in a black tie. I so rarely do it other than weddings or something.
Yeah. I know, but it's a nice event to do it. So there's dinner, there's awards, there's dancing. It's a very nice evening, and it's nothing can be more beautiful than the Disneyland Grand Ballroom here to hold the event in.
Absolutely. And then you got other events coming up. We'll talk about those coming up here. Let's take a break.
Okay.
And we'll come back in just a couple minutes, folks. So tune back in. We're going to go dark for a couple minutes while we log on to this live feed and get set up with Arturo Sandoval, who's going to be joining us via Zoom. You'll be able to see him. You'll be able to hear him. And I don't think we're going to take any questions. I don't think we have any time for that, but we'll see. Whatever.
We'll see.
If there's something important you want to ask, tweet us or call in. So we're going to sign off, and we're going to sign back on in like 2 minutes. So come back and join us.